So, what's it take to make grape jam? Basically, what's it take to make grape anything? Grape pies. Now, these are all seeded. That's what was already planted here when I moved here. I planted two seedless, but they're not big enough yet. I planted them like 2 years ago. It takes like 3 years before they start showing grapes. And these vines I got now have been here for, I don't know, maybe 30 years. What you got to do is you got to squeeze the pulp out, and then that's the pulp. It's not purple like you think it would be. It's just the skin. And then you heat this up. You heat the pulp up, and these are seeds. You got to get the seeds out. So then you get a thing and squeeze. It's like you put it in. It's about as big as thing about as big as one of these bowls. Only it's got a bunch of holes in it. Only they're little enough that the seeds won't fall through. So when you spin it around, it's got like a blade in there that spins it around, crushes all the pulp through, and then you this thing right here, you put the grapes in there, you put this in, and you put the grape pulp in here. You put the pulp in there. With these, you can wash them if you want to after this, but I think you wash a lot of the pulp out of them. I wash the grapes before I start doing this. And then you put you put the pulp in here, and then you squeeze it through, and it leaves a bunch of seeds in there. Then you got to take the seeds out, and so you're left with a bunch of seeds and stuff like that. And then you chop this up to whatever. I put it in my processor instead of using a knife, because I got what is it? It's 15 gallons. My parents picked this while I was working today, so I give them as much grape stuff as they want. I think I'm still eating something from 2 years ago, I think, but I've had a problem with it not being able. I can't. It's they call it gelling, and that's when the pectin and the sugar. You got to put a bunch of sugar. You almost put as much sugar as you do grapes in some of this stuff. Well, not as much, but you put a lot of sugar in, and so then the pectin in these has to bind with the sugars, and when it does, that gels up. But to get it to gel, you have to boil it to 220 degrees, and water boils at 212 and turns to vapor at like turns to vapor 212, 213. And so you can't get it up to 220 degrees because it's the water's you're just boiling the water out. So I got a pressure cooker so that I can raise it raises the temperature up to a higher degree, so it should be able to get it to gel. But I've done everything. I put pots on burners. I mean, I put it in the oven at 400 degrees, but it doesn't matter because the water in there boils at 212 degrees. Now the sugar is supposed to cause it to thicken and lower or raise the heating of the water in the grapes to a higher point. But I haven't got it to. I did it a couple times. I got maybe 10. I don't know how I did it. I just lucked out. But it's the last, I don't know how many years I've been doing this now. I've done this like 3 years, 3 or 4 years. And I haven't, it's some gels and some don't. I want it all to gel because it's better. It's, you don't have jam unless it gels. But that's what you do. You pick them, and then you deskin them. You gotta pop. It's not hard, but it is freaking tedious. And then you cook those, so you soften them up. So you soften up the pulp, so you can put it in this to deseed them. And then you put everything together. You put the seeds and the skins together, and then that's when you cook it. You put the sugar in and you cook it. And I think I got pectin, so I'm gonna put a little pectin in this year. I think so to make sure that it gels. So anyway, that's how you do it. Then you got to can it. You boil the can. You boil. Put them in boiling water for a certain amount. I think quarts are like so long. I think they got most of the ball stuff says like are for pints or half pints, but I do quarts because I just got way too much. And anyway, it's just tedious, not hard work. You get into a rhythm.